Welcome back, Rashid here. Um, let's do a quick recap of what we have done so far. I'm in RTL2 routing series, so I'm taking an RTL all the way to routing and taking it through different flow steps and actually showing you actual tickle commands that I used in creating this flow. I created this entire flow and taken multiple design to routing. Okay, so the last few videos, those were about compile stages, and then I hit the insert DFT or scan change type of stuff. Okay, that is done now. So this video and the next couple of videos, or maybe one more videos, we'll see, will be about this section of the flow. Okay, we are still in synthesis flow, you can call it. We haven't entered into placement, but what we need to do is now we need to write out the databases that we need for this further flow. I mean, in this tool that I'm using, you can do everything in one go, right? I mean, you're not switching the tools. You're not like exiting from here, going into another tool, and now you need to save database. It used to be like, for example, design compiler, you write out stuff, and then you go into IC compiler. When you open a very first stage, you read the inputs from design compiler, and you set up everything again. Now things are simple here in this wonder tool that I'm using, because you stay in the same shell and then you keep going. But at the end of every stage, you are saving your block. And in the beginning, when we created this library, there was a library, the design library I'm talking about, that we created, and a block was set up and we read in the design. And now, after every stage, we just want to save the block so that all the information that happened here, that we have actually different things that we have run on the database on our RTL, and we have taken our RTL all the way to fully netlist form at this stage, fully technology map stage at this stage. So now we just need to save the block and write out some reports and databases. Sometimes it's not just this next stage in the flow that need input from this. There are other tools. For example, at this stage, we want to do also a formal equivalence, just to make sure that functionally this netlist that we have here after synthesis matches to the original RTL. And that is a separate tool, so it needs a netlist, so we need to write out a netlist. Anyway, we'll talk more about the outputs and reports, outputs in that section, but just want to show you here we are. And after that, we will get into placement, CTS, and routing. Okay, so we don't have too much stuff left, but we do have some critical stages left that we need to understand theoretically, and we will take a look at the example of synthetical code or the native tool command, how those things are done, for example, in this tool. Right, makes sense? Okay, so right, as I said, we did compile. The final compile we did, and we have a database like this. Okay, it's a, I know people sometimes struggle, especially people who are used to working with just the synthesis tools. These days, tools have a lot of physical information. So you can see that this is output of synthesis, and cells are literally placed, legally placed in their location. We'll look at what legal means, but you can see that they're properly placed, not overlap and all that. Right? So that is synthesis database. So we just did that, and now, as I said, first of all, you want to save the block. Okay, in case something happens, tool crashes, some other mistake happens, you lose the shell, all the information that you have till the previous save block, you will lose that. So first thing is, this is a native tool command, use a save block. This will save that design at that stage, whatever that block that you were working on, okay? So for example, if you exit by any reason, crash happens, tool crashes, or maybe machine dies or something else happens, right? So next time what you do is, what do? You do, oops, too big. So what you do is open, I think it's open library or open lab, sorry. Been a few days I haven't done that. Okay, open lab, and then whatever, in the setup stage, whatever the name of the, for example, this was counter underscore lab. Wherever you have saved that, I'm in this folder, I'm saving it in the current work area. So I'm inside the work area, work folder, whatever name you want to give it. I cd to that, and I cd that, and then I open the tool, right? And then this library is saved right in this folder here. So all I do is open lab, and when open lab, you can do list underscore blocks. That will tell you what kind of different blocks are saved. Okay, we have only the main block, right? Counter It's lowercase. That's the module that we actually had. Okay. By the way, you can also save in the previous stages. You could have saved, I should say, save block. If you don't want to, just take a separate copy of as counter after DFT, right? Now this is you are specifically saving it as a separate snapshot, so that it doesn't have everything. This is the block that was the state of the block right after the DFT was performed, scan chain instruction was performed. Okay, so you can do that. It will just increase more disk space, right, in your library where you have saved this, because you are saving creating a duplicate copy of that. You're not overwriting the previous version of that block. So you can, what I was saying, yeah, so typically you can do list blocks, and that will show you any your latest, whatever block you're working on, other copies. It will show you all of that, and then after that, what do? You do open block and whatever name account. Okay, so you can start if you have it saved. It exits for any reason. You can go through the inflow again, open it, and then you will have a design. And then, by the way, if you want to open a GUI, what do? Start underscore GUI. I mean, if you want to look at the layout, normally you don't play with GUIs, right? So you want to do that so that in case it's gone, you can open it again. Okay, two key stages: generate outputs and generate reports. So yeah, in the flow, typically I've seen a generate report comes for generate output, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I typically like to write outputs so that before anything again happens, at least I have outputs. Okay, so what kind of different reports you write, what kind of different outputs you write, I have a section on those right after this. But in this video, I want to cover another important thing. At this stage, for example, so write Verilog. Writing a Verilog netlist is a very important stage. But there are other tools that need that information. So that's important part of this outputs. But you can also write a Verilog here just to see how the names are, or you can see inside your design if you do a get cells and all those things. You will see that cells are named a bit like something like this. So I wrote out a Verilog netlist right after compile stages, and that is how it looks like. Okay, could have done, I guess, get cell as well, but I thought, okay, let's write out a netlist and show you in the netlist how it comes. Okay, I've hidden this part. This is the technology cell name. This is technology cell name. Okay, so I'm hiding that for obvious reasons, but the instance name is I'm showing. Okay, and you can see that the instance name is kind of backslash here, and then it has these square brackets here. Typically these are very special characters. We prefer to have an instance that has underscores in it. That's it, and no backslash in the beginning. Simple, right? So that is just one thing I pointed out, that something we can take care by using a command change names. And it's always present in every flow. So what I'm doing is right before I generate outputs and reports, I'm running this command on the shell, on the whatever tool shell. So I'm saying change names, and the rules for the naming that you need to consider are the Verilog, like Verilog netlist style. And it is hierarchy, go down all the way down, even though in this case it's just one module. And after that, when I wrote a new Verilog netlist, it was something like this. It has this thing. So you can, I think if you go and do a man of change name, you will see a lot of other examples of this, but I prefer to keep this in my flow so that my naming is pretty normal like, okay. Yeah, so I think that's it. So we do change names, and then after that we will go into reports and then outputs in the next video too. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.